All right, everybody. We are here. I believe we are testing this out. I believe you guys can hear me. So those who are following me, who understand what's going on today we have an open house. But not only is it open house, but we're actually doing a seller workshop. So with today's agenda, we're at a community called Berry Bay community in Wimauma, Florida. With that being said, we have an open house scheduled from 3 to 5 o'clock today. But there is an agenda. So right now we're just all getting set up for, right now it's an opportunity for people to kind of walk through the property. They're going to take that time from till about 3:15ish. We understand how that goes. But today there is a lot of rain. We are in Florida, so this is always unpredictable. So something that I do to add a little extra oomph to an open house. Let me do this. Woo, woo. That is right. So something that I do that's a little extra with the open house is do a workshop. So we have different people that are going to come through for the workshop. With the workshop, they're going to look to find out different ways to get a home sold in today's market. The market that we're currently in is a little bit different. There's a lot of things that people need to be aware of. So we'll get into it. So just bear with me. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. Just let folks get here because it is raining out. And for those who cannot make it, be sure to text me or even, go ahead and text me or even message me through the Facebook Live. 813-419-3927. Chris Brown, Central 21 Beggins Enterprises. So that being said, give me a few minutes. You guys may hear me talking here and there, but I will be right back. We're just walking around, letting people, got to greet people as they're coming in and making sure they are wiping their feet when they come into the property as well, because it is wet outside. I do have like a towel set up and all that other good stuff. And as long as the connection stays pretty relevant for us and tidy, we'll probably go ahead and do a walkthrough of the property as well. But after the presentation, I say that for after the presentation because technology sometimes is live. So just trying to make this happen, try to get this property sold and helping people understand what it's going to take to get it sold in this unique property. And I can tell you guys what's really unique about it. So just stay tuned. And unfortunately, you won't be able to see the PowerPoint with this that I've taken the time to do and get prepared for this, but I have it right here. So we'll be going through it and making things happen. So I'll give you all the details about the property, where exactly at, about the workshop itself, how people are actually getting their property sold in today's market. So bear with me, hang in there, guys. I'll be right back. I'm just make sure everything's good to go. All right. Oop. Everything's ready to go in here. Good as it's gonna get. It's clean, smelling good. Lights on. And we are getting everything squared away. Not too bad. Oh, let me get a flyer. I think we got details about the property, but that's all. Most of it's on the flyer about the upgrades. It's not heavy rain, but it's just consistent rain. This is the type of weather you just want to sleep, lay in your bed. But it's all good. This is what it's all about. We'll make it happen. We are going to get this done. Bathroom looks good. Carpet vacuumed. Awesome. Looking extremely fresh. We like that. We like that a lot. Looking lively. Bathroom smelling good, clean, nothing on the countertops. Oh yeah, we ready. We got sellers that want to sell. Turn on light. There you go. Can't cheat today. If I turn the lights on, it's cloudy out. Got the blinds open, big backyard, 60-foot lot. Probably one of the bigger lots. It is the wider lot. Lots moving. Newer properties are only on 50-foot lot. This is 60. So more distance between your neighbors. That's a good look. Okay. And there is clean. People come in, they can sign in, grab a bottle of water, flyers, bottle of water. Shit, they don't take my pen. I got one pen, so gotta hoard the pens today. All right. All right, y'all. We're gonna get started here in a little bit. I'm gonna give people a chance to walk through the property at the beginning of the open house that we're having today. So today we are hosting an open house. That open house is from 3 to 5 p.m. We are in the Berry Bay community. So this is the seller workshop / open house. So don't want to confuse people. It's not just informational. If you guys were able to attend live and in person, you would have been able to view this property and some of the things that I'm going to be sharing today. So it's going to be very specific to this property and community, but it's all about, especially homeowners that are in the Berry Bay community. There's a lot of people moving in and there are a few folks moving out. So for those who are moving out, you got to really understand what you are competing against, because it's competition. In today's market, it's competition. And we're going to go through that. I don't want to give it all away just yet. So we're going to go through that. But it's serious stuff. It's very important information. Like I said before, feel free to contact me directly. You can direct message me through this application. This is Facebook Live. Feel free to reach out to me through here. Direct message me or even text me. You can reach me at 813-419-3927. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this seller workshop. This is a seller workshop as well as a Berry Bay open house. So for those who are here, please be sure to, you had the opportunity to kind of tour the place. We're going to go through the workshop, but once we finish the workshop, you'll have more than enough time to go ahead and continue to tour the property, ask questions more directly, one-on-one questions if you have, maybe even for your specific situation. So feel free to do that. So we won't be able to go back and forth, at least online, with answering direct questions, but you can ask a question and it will get answered later. So don't forget to do that if you guys do have that. So the tour part of this is over with. I wanted to do an introduction of myself as well as the property. So the initial focus was the tour. We are at a property in Wimauma, Florida, 2927 Marine Grass Drive, to be specific and exact. This is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-car garage. And this is a true 3-car garage. And when I say that, is like when you're looking at the property, you see 3-car slots. There are 3-car garages where they have a tandem. And what that means is when you look at the garage, it may look like it's only 2 slots, but there's a tandem, meaning that there's an extended parking spot within the garage. So 2 cars can fit in that one slot and another one on the next side, totaling 3. So, but this is a true because this is a wider lot. That being said, this home is nearly 3,300 square feet. This is the Dolly floor plan. This is in Wimauma, Florida. We have over $70,000 in builder options upgrades. That is, because when you're building brand new, you have different options that you can add to the property, and those do cost. So keep that in mind. This is a fenced backyard. This does have a fenced backyard, and it is a 60-foot lot. Now, some people say, why do I say it's a fenced backyard? Why am I emphasizing that? Because if you had to do or add a fence, you bought a property and you had to add a fence. This is a value add that a lot of people aren't familiar with. And that is, if you had to add a fence, this specific fence, you're looking anywhere between, getting quotes between 10,000 to 14,000 for a fence, just a fence in the backyard. So keep that in mind when you're looking at properties and you are comparing like price and you're looking at the value that some of these resale properties have. These are some of the value adds. So throughout the property, this one also has extensive amount of what I call pre-wiring. And what I mean is, because it has pre-wiring in the living room area, dining room area, as well as the patio. What I mean by pre-wiring, it has, like in your kitchen area, kitchen/living room area, you have your pendant lights. Doesn't have the hanging pendant lights, but the wiring is there. So this still gives you an opportunity to have that added. Just actually buying the actual lights, not actually doing the pre-wiring. So if you are buying new construction, you can have this option, but you are going to have to pay for it. But this home already has it. Out on the patio area, if you wanted to have entertainment on the outside of the property, pre-wiring is already out there. And what I mean by pre-wiring, you could do speakers out there as well as ceiling fan. This home doesn't have a ceiling fan out there, but you can have that added. The wiring is already there. So it's just buying a fan from Home Depot, taking the cap off, and the wires will come down. You have access to the wires. That's right there. So that is a huge benefit that a lot of people aren't familiar with until they kind of get into the process. Also in the living room area, for my guys and gals that like to watch movie, family night, you guys have the surround sound. The wires are already there. They're already up in the ceiling. So you're not going to have to pay an additional contractor to come in and take care of that after you purchase the property. It's already there. Additionally, if you're doing new construction, that is an extra cost that you're going to have. So you can have that, and But that being said, these are the opportunities that a lot of people are not familiar with when they're buying a resale home. So this property that we're at, 2927 Marine Grass Drive, has these options already in place. So that's my brief introduction and a little bit about me. I want to tell you more about the property because we're more focused on the property here in the workshop. But a little bit about me. My name is Chris Brown, real estate professional, real estate developer, as well as health is wealth advocate. I've been in the real estate world, buying, selling, and investing since 2004. So I have been doing a lot of different things and seen a lot of different things. Still a lot more I haven't seen in the world of real estate, but still looking forward to getting involved with that. So welcome to this particular workshop that we're going to host today and go through a lot of different things that we're going to help not only sellers in this community, but also other sellers. So it's not something that just applies to just this community. It applies to other communities as well. So keep that in mind. So how to position your home to sell. That is like the key thing right about now. If you're in a position where you're thinking about getting your property on the market, things that you need to consider: pricing, presentation, buyer perception, as well as market strategy. And that's what we're going to go through with today's workshop. My team and I, we've been working to get this current property. So we understand there are certain expectations that we do understand, and we do have a general idea of how the market is positioning and continuing to watch the market on a regular basis, because that's what it takes. It's not that you just list the property and just sit back and just hope a whole bunch of buyers just come and purchase the property. Now, we did have a time like that, and that was called the pandemic. So we are way past the pandemic on different levels, on a buyer level as well as a seller's level. So keeping that in mind. So today's seller reality. Buyers are, in a buyer's mind, they have different things that they're comparing. When they're looking at a property, they are looking at the monthly payment. They are looking at different builder incentives. And we're speaking very specific. In some markets, they don't have a lot of builders, but this market, they do. Builder incentives, finished upgrades, move-in timing, as well as online first impression. So these are different things that buyers are really looking at, especially with online, like a day like today. It's renting outside. So if somebody's in the market for a home, what are they doing? They are online looking at properties. So your online presentation is just as important as your in-person presentation. So keep that in mind. Buyers compare more than just the list price. They're looking beyond that. They're really looking beyond that. There was a time where they only really looked at how much does it cost, how many bedrooms, when is it available, is it actually available? So buyers have options these days, and they're really looking to compare. So winning strategy: make the home feel like a clear choice before the buyer ever books a showing. That's the game plan. It's not about trying to force them to the property. They got to get the showing. They got to like it prior so that they can schedule an actual showing. So keep that in mind, thinking smart as a seller. So in the first 30 seconds, when a buyer decides that they actually would like to take a look at the property, they are looking for the proof. What buyers notice first. So when they're pulling up to a property, first thing, off rip, they're going to look at it. Curb appeal and the entryway. This is what they're going to look at the first thing. So when I pulled up today, we're doing an open house. Something that I noticed is that they just had trash day. I think it was the day before. So it looked like there was a couple of items that were possibly that blew in the wind with the storm and everything that was in the yard. So what I did, I knew it wasn't the sellers that I'm working with. I knew it wasn't their trash. I went ahead and picked up the trash because I know when someone drives by the property, they're going to look at this stuff and they're going to be like, hey, why is there trash in the yard? Why is there a bottle? It's not theirs. It just blew into the yard. And like I said, I know it was trash day the day before. And with that being said, it's probably when the guy was dumping the trash, something fell out. Plain and simple. So smell and freshness. When people walk into a home, it's a feeling that they have. It's that first initial smell. So a lot of times when you are selling your property, what I encourage my sellers to do is to have incense towards the front door. And reason being is because that's the first smell that they're going to have. There's different. We all have different senses. One other thing, it's not mentioned in the presentation, but one other thing is the first thing that they touch on the property is the doorknob. So if you have like a wobbly doorknob and it's loose and it's kind of brokenish, but just tighten it up, because that starts sending signals to a buyer. Buyers go through this process of buying a home. It's very emotional. Trying to compare logic with emotions. It's a lot of different things that happen. But those are things that you want to avoid if you can and if you're aware of. So if you know better, you'll do better. Lighting and brightness. Like today, we have a day where it is actually a bit rainy out, so it's cloudy. So I actually have to use a lot of the interior lights to kind of brighten this place up. And that being said, is because it's a bright place. It's a big space. Like I said, we're just under 3,300 square feet. It's 2 stories, big space. And you want potential buyers to be able to see the spacing within the property. The darker it is, the closer it feels, and it doesn't have that openness that you may want to have. It still makes it feel cluttered if it's on that darker side. So you brighten things up to make it feel refreshed and where people feel like they can bring their family in, bring other people in, entertain other people. That's what you want to have. Brightness. Clutter and personal items. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of those. That's like one of the sell my home 101 type of tips. You want to go ahead and make sure these things are decluttered. You're looking at your countertops. You're looking at your different space when people want to walk through. They want to walk from the front of the home to the rear, maybe to the patio area. Make sure that walkway, that pathway is clear. Those are things that we want to be mindful of. Does a home feel easy to move into? And that's another feel. A lot of times when if you're selling a home that the owner is still in the property, because let's be realistic. A lot of times we need to sell our current home before we move to our next property. That being said, you want to start decluttering. You want to make people feel like they can see themselves in the home. You don't want them thinking about, oh, I wonder what this seller does in this area. You don't want them thinking about the actual homeowner. You want them to be thinking about themselves, positioning themselves in the home that you're looking to sell. So very key, it is very important You want, because as a buyer is going through the home, like I said, it's an emotional process. They are imagining themselves at the time and even after the fact. So keep that in mind. It's not just while they're there, but it's also when they leave the property, because they're going to be comparing it against other properties that they're looking at as well. So a seller rule that I like to have: a buyer should walk in and feel calm, clear, and confident, not distracted by normal daily life. And I mean, like, they don't want to have to think about what you have going on a daily basis, because your home is cluttered and a lot's going on there. So presentation is not decoration. It is a risk reduction for the buyer. So keep that in mind. It's not a lot of times where people are setting up the home so they can make it feel like it's decorated. No, it's more on it's the risk reduction. So when a buyer does see your home, they're thinking more of, hey, I can see myself in this property. I can see myself purchasing this home. I can see a general idea of how I would set up my furniture. You don't need all the extra stuff. You're in a position where you're thinking about moving, or you're in a position where you're looking to move. So go ahead and pack up a lot of that extra stuff, especially if it's stuff that you do not use on a regular basis. Go ahead and pack that stuff up, pack it up, place it in a garage. Uh, Garage could be a storage, or even if you have a storage place, go ahead and place it in your storage, because you're already going to be packing up anyway. So go ahead and do it now. So, all right, there we go. Pricing. So create action, don't chase. You still see it a little bit where some sellers are throwing a super high price out there. In today's market, buyers are a bit more savvier. Buyers are looking at sellers that are serious. If they see that you are overly priced, they're not even going to take the time to even view your property online. They'll see it and keep scrolling by it. So keep that in mind. The first week teaches you the truth. Within the first week of your home being on the market, it should let you know how the market really reacts. If the market is really reacting and they like your home, they're going to you're going to get a lot of, or a decent amount of traffic. You're going to get inquiries. You're going to get things online. You're going to get views online. You're going to get people saving the property online. You're going to get people doing different things online to show that people are interested. You're going to get actual showings. Now, if you're not getting that, that's telling you something. One, about the market, because at the end of the day, it's all about the market and how they perceive the value in your home. So a lot of times, that's why when you're doing resale, it becomes a challenge for you to show the value. That's why I say mentioning what upgrades the property may have is going to be a benefit for you, especially in that description. But it's all about presentation, what's going to initially attract them to start looking through the property, looking at the pictures online. So get buyers to click. That's what it's all about. Getting buyers to click, getting agents to show the property. So if you know a bunch of agents, send the information out to them. If you know different platforms, send that information out to them. Send emails to them. Hey, you have a buyer that may be potentially interested. These are tools that your typical agent does have access to. So that being said, they have tools that doesn't give this specific individual, but it may show like another agent has a search set up for a potential buyer that has an interest in a home with this criteria. So it lets you know who that agent is, so that you can actually message that agent saying, hey, I see that you have a potential person that may be interested in this home. Hey, do you guys want to schedule a showing? Hey, I'm doing an open house. Do you want to come by? Hey, do you want to send your buyer by the property to see if they're truly serious about buying at this time? Keeping engaged, because a lot of agents, I know I appreciate that, especially in today's world. If I'm really tied in with a potential buyer, there's different agreements out there for my agents that are watching this. There's different agreements out there. You understand that. The buyer broker agreement, BBA. So keeping that in mind, you have that set up. So even if they are going to go to another property, take a look at it, you're still protected within that process. And also letting you know that, hey, now you can show them that you're still engaged and showing that you're still looking to help. And like, hey, this property fits your criteria. Hey, how about you go by and take a look at it? Kind of gives you an idea of how serious they are. They're like, oh, we're on vacation right now. Oh, we don't have time for it. They're really not looking, but at the same time, it allows you to be engaged with your potential buyer, and that's how things go. So I know I'm doing that for my sellers right now. Make the home feel competitive. Yeah, it's a competitive market right now. Leave room for serious negotiation. It depends on the scenario. Each seller scenario is different. So if you have room for negotiation, be open for it. And it's more than just the price. So really understand, is really going to understand what the potential buyer is looking for. What are they looking to do? Do they need assistance with maybe closing costs? Are they looking to do a rate buy down? Big thing right now. Um, those are certain things that you really need to talk it out. So if you're getting showings or anything along those lines, ask your agent. This is me talking to other sellers that are out there. Talk to your agent to see, hey, do we know if there's anything that they may be interested in? If it's the prices, is it the cost, is it the interest rate? Do they need help with closing costs? Those are things that we initially go for. And avoid sitting still online. That's a tough thing. So I know a lot of people are not adjusting their prices, but typically depending on the market that you're in, and even the market that you're in, like say if we have Hillsborough County, Tampa Bay. Within the Tampa Bay market, you have different counties. Within those different counties, you have different communities. So though you have your different micro markets that you actually need to be aware of and actually understand how those markets are different compared to the overall. And there's, at least in the Tampa Bay market, those micro markets, there's a lot of different micro markets that have different results than other markets. So keep it in mind, whatever your launch strategy is, let's test and see what happens. That is not a strategy to have. What you want to do, the better strategy is launch where buyers see clear value immediately. So when they see it, they're liking it. Whether they're ready or not, they're placing likes online. They're looking at you online. They may even want to see and follow that property, maybe even attend an open house like today. Today's workshop and open house. So presentation, so key. Like I said, it's presentation not only in person, but it is online as well. Control what you can. At the end of the day, is what you can control. Today it's raining. I cannot control that, but I can control what I can. So we had an open house and workshop scheduled today, but it is pouring down rain outside. It's lightened up right now, so maybe we may get some more late strollers or anything. You never know, but I still have to perform on my end as a real estate professional. This is the duty that I have to my sellers, and this is what we set up. It's part of our marketing plan. We don't do these every day. I do have other team members that help out and do other open houses for me as well. So those are good things when you do have a team that's involved and help and support you. So occupied homes can still show extremely well. And that's what we're getting a lot of, occupied homes. I know the best scenario is for a vacant home. And I like it a lot when people are looking at pictures online and they think the property is vacant, but it's actually occupied. And that's because you've done such a great job on decluttering, making things simple, making it plain. That's when you know you're doing a good job with presenting the home, because it makes it feel like it's open, it's clear, it's fresh. It makes it feel like anyone else can create their own palette with that particular home. So keep that in mind. So before every showing, these are some tips. We've kind of mentioned a few already. Open the blinds, turn on the lights. You want to do that. Clean the kitchen, bathroom counters, declutter, get all that stuff off the countertops. Fresh scent, no heavy plugins. And I understand some people like to turn it up on the plugins, but it needs to be a refreshed smell. There's different smells. Some people like the warm scents, different scents in the bathroom versus in the kitchen, living room, or at the entryway. There's different stuff that's online that you guys can that research has actually already been done. But I like to keep it consistent. I don't like anything overbearing, but I do like it to be fresh, a fresh smell where it's simple to breathe, very simple to breathe. Sorry about that. Make sure we're good. We're good. So keep that in mind. Make beds and vacuum the carpet. You got to make the beds. With the carpet, my preference is for my sellers to vacuum the floor, vacuum the carpet, because it gives that fresh look. When you know what I'm talking about. When you go over the carpet and it has the streaks, the tracks that you can see where you can tell somebody actually came in here and vacuumed it, and it makes it look a whole lot better. And especially when you're taking pictures online too, do that prior to your pictures. Always say, present your home like it was picture day. The extra things that you did, it was smelling good, everything was cleared, everything was packed away. That's how you want to maintain the home when you're actually doing the showings. Hide the cords, bins, laundry, and your shoes. So a lot of people like to leave their shoes at the front door. Let's not do that during the showings. Okay. If you know that you don't have a showing scheduled, you may be able to do that. But you want to get in the habit of, hey, maybe I'm going to take my shoes and take them to my closet. Take them off. Instead of taking them off and leaving at the door, I'm going to take them off. Let me go ahead and take them to my closet upstairs. So keep that in mind. Do not forget, stage the patio as usable space. So if you do have a patio and you do have furniture out there, make sure people can walk through, but show how it can be used. If you have a couple of patio chairs, a table, let people see that it can actually be used. This is a comfort area. Okay, keep that in mind. Keep the entryway clean and simple. You always want to keep it when you first walk in, you don't want it to be cluttered where people got to walk sideways just to get into the house, or they're tripping over different things. They got to step over things. You don't want that when they're first walking into property. Limit personal photos and wall clutter. So I've seen this a lot. Personal photos, that's been something that's been out there. If you have something that's simple, very general, feel free to do that. Personal photos, always tell people to take that down, just because it's like, it distracts buyers. When they come in, they see pictures of actual families and so forth, and they're just like, oh, and they're talking about the family instead of walking through the property. They're not even paying attention to actual property. They're just wondering about, oh, I wonder what they do. I wonder how long they lived here. I wonder what the mom of the house did, with the kids. And, those are questions that, they're curious questions, but at the same time, you want them to focus on the property. So keep that in mind. Focus on the property. Limit the wall clutter if you can. So I know some people in refrigerator clutter. That's a big thing. A lot of times, we have kiddos. We're putting a schedule. We're putting stickers and magnets from every city that we visited over the past, during the time we lived in the home. You clutter all that, clean that all up. Trust me. Try to make the garage functional. And I say this try because if they can see how you use the garage, some people, like especially on a 3-car garage, you may park 2 of your cars, but you may use one side of the garage as storage. That's how people are going to perceive it. Potential buyers may also see and excuse if your garage is a little bit cluttered because you've moved everything from the inside of the home into the garage. Okay, but still leave pathways, because if you have someone that's interested in the home and they are looking to get the property inspected, one of the big things that they're going to have to do is get to the electrical panel. Typically, the electrical panel is going to be in the garage. That being said, make sure you have a pathway to the electrical panel, your hot water tank that's out there as well, and any other special electrical, like if you have EV outlets, make sure those are accessible, because you want people to see those, because they want to see, okay, yeah, this may fit mine, or I may need to get an adapter, or they'd be like, wow, this is an awesome system, especially like the Tesla systems. When you see those, you're just like, wow, this is an amazing EV rechargeable station here. So those are some important things that you want to keep in mind. Maintain the first week standard. And what I mean by the first week standard is typically when you are live for the first week, you have, everybody's keeping everything up to date. If you have kids are making sure they're keeping their room clean. They're putting their laundry away. They're not just stuffing dirty clothes up under the bed. They're taking care of the property at that point. Okay. So that's what you want to maintain. And then in today's market, that's very key, because you got to stay motivated, because homes are staying on the market much longer than what they typically have been. And so you may be on the market for a few months. So it's all about maintaining that energy. So one of the things that I do with my sellers is that I try to do at least an open house once a month. And the reason I say that is because, and it's not so much, it's a lot of psychology behind it, because one, it keeps the seller engaged. Two, it also uh, helps refresh it a little bit online. I think price reductions are probably more of the key way of getting properties sold, or getting more eyes on the property once it's been on the market for a while, is price reductions. Because everything refreshes online. Big alerts go out to everybody that saw the property before. That's what it's all about. But then on the same time, it's also about um, just maintaining. Just keep that in mind. You want to keep that in mind, maintaining that. The open houses do help. The little things do help. So like I said, I do them for a couple of different reasons: keeping everybody motivated, keeping them with a true understanding how they're keeping up with the property, because it's not like I'm here every day. But so I can generally get an idea of how they're maintaining the property as well. And when I see, especially a home like this, they're keeping everything vacuumed up, cleaned. You have sellers that are still in understanding, like, hey, we got to get the process. We got to get this, we got to get it sold. But they also understand that, hey, this is going to take a little bit of time. So it's all about setting proper expectations in the beginning, so they don't become demotivated, as sellers typically and can become. They don't become demotivated after they've been on the market for a few weeks, and they're like, why did not this property not sell? And they're like, why didn't it not sell? And the reason it didn't sell, hey, because the expectation was this property is going to be on the market for 60 to 90 days before it actually sells, because that's what the routine is for resale properties in this particular micro market. It is what it is. So online presentation, we talked a lot about that, making sure that you understand how you look online, using high quality. Stop using the iPhones. I know the iPhones and a lot of these Androids, they have great cameras on them. Stop taking pictures by yourself. Go ahead and hire a professional photographer. I'm fortunate to work with someone that is a professional photographer and has an eye. They've been in, and I say an eye for greatness, or picture greatness, I say, because they've been in the business for a while. They've seen how their product looks when they take it in person, and how it looks online. Then also what they may need to slightly adjust, just a couple of pillows, like, oh, these cords are showing, so let's take this angle. Or, our goal is to get people into the property, so maybe we'll only do 2 angles in here in this particular room, and not the whole room. Let's get people here, but make the sellers aware that, hey, we may need to make some corrections over here, but we're going to take these 2 angles. Oh, don't worry about those cars over there, because those cars will not be in the picture. Those are things that people that are online, they're going to want to know about. The buyer meets your home on the phone first. And when I say on the phone first, it's because everybody has a cell phone now. And I believe just about everybody. I have a niece. It's not even a teenager yet. She has a phone. We know they're getting the phones earlier and earlier these days. That being said, how you look not only on the computer, on a big screen, but also on a mobile device, keeping this all in mind. It's all about presentation. Keep that in mind. So exterior curb pictures, you want to make sure you have kitchen, your main living areas, your primary bedroom, your primary bathroom, your patio, the other amenities that the property may have. If it's in a community, what amenities are included within the community? I'm in the Berry Bay community. With the Berry Bay community, they have a number of amenities that people, even if you don't have your own pool, they have a community pool. They have pickleball court. They have basketball court. They have tennis courts. They have rec areas. They have areas. If you don't have a grill at your home, you can do a grill over elsewhere. Picnic areas, dog walk areas. More that's coming to the area. Nearby shopping, things that are important to families, to individuals. You have financial institutions that are nearby. You have medical facilities that are nearby. You have schools that are nearby. The bus stop is nearby. These are all things that people are potentially looking at when they are looking at potentially buying a home. So why should I see the home instead of the other options? Well, this home in particular. So, and the reason I say that people should look at this particular home, because there's so many things that this home has to offer. Like I said, there's over 70,000 in benefits that this home, or upgrades that this home actually has. That being said, when you're comparing, and it's one of the things, and it's when you're comparing a home, you're looking at new construction. Are you looking to move into property now, or do you have, 6 to 8 months down the road to move into property? If you have that additional time, then maybe new construction is for you. But you have a lot of people that are looking to move now, and they need something that may have all the bells and whistles that they are looking for, and that's what this property has. It's still an open canvas for people to actually add their own touches to. It has what I call a poolable lot. It doesn't have a pool, but it does have a community pool. But this has the potential of having its own pool. You can have its own pool installed later on down the road. It adds value to the home. Um, High ceilings. It's a newer home built in 23. I think 2023. So it's only a few years old. So it's still it's a broken in home. It's ready. It's move-in ready. Um, the transaction, the process is not going to take long for this particular home. Yes, I'm going to say all the good things, but hey, it is something really to compare. But look at the true value of this home, especially with the other upgrades that this home actually has, the flooring upgrades. And if you guys need more details, I'll make sure that um, because like I said, it's over 70,000 out. So it's a long list of different upgrades for this home. I'll make sure that list is added to this live so that you guys can see it. Also, if you look this property up, 2927 Marine Grass Drive, Wimauma, Florida. If you look that up online, you'll also see a number of pictures of the property, and you'll see a lot of the upgrades that it actually has. So keep that in mind. Access, make it easy. When you're going through this process, make it easy to access the property. A lot of times, you have to convince sellers. As a seller, I know it's your home, you're still living there, but you're going to have a lot of flexibility. And like I said, it's all about understanding the expectations that this property is not going to be under contract within a week. It's not, especially in today's market, Berry Bay community. It's not going to be under contract within a week. It's going to be on the market for a while. So you need to make sure it's easy to access. People are able to view it. If you have people that want to see this property, make sure that they can get into it. That's the key thing behind it. And if there's a situation where they can't get into it, really try to get it rescheduled for those individuals to be able to watch that property. So the first 7 to 14 days are critical whenever you're on the market. Typically what I do and something I share is making sure that maybe like a go and show. If people are really interested in this property, they're going to go online, they're going to go ahead and access it, and they're going to say, hey, I want to see this property. And if you make it very easy for their real estate agent, they click on it to go and show whenever, during the time that they want to see it. Easy done, easy going. Make it easy. Make the process easy. Flexible showing windows, confirmed lockbox access. Make sure the time zones. And I found myself in a situation about the time zones. Time zones are very important. Sometimes you can have a time zone that's central time, and that does a lot. A lot of people that are agents around here are familiar with that. You're on central time with your lock boxes. So if I say 10 o'clock, it's actually still only 9 o'clock, and it may only open between 10 and 7. So that means it's like a different time zone. So it's actually 11. So keep that in mind. Keep the time zone in mind. That goes to the agent. The agent should know that. Keep that in mind. Same day response, feedback, open houses are visibility events like we're doing here. We're doing a workshop, open house. Follow up while the home is still fresh. Continue to follow it up with people while people are very interested, hot. Reduce friction, increase confidence. That's what it's about. A lot of times when other people are getting the property sold, they don't know a whole lot about the community, but they know that they have a buyer that is interested. So help them out. I leave informational flyers at the property, particularly at the entryway. So when they come in, they can see that information and they can go ahead and get access to it. They can see what's going on with the property. So even if they're not 100%, they can grab a flyer and talk their buyer through it. Like, oh, here's a list of all of the incentives that the property actually has. So keep that in mind. All right. All right, so Berry Bay example. So this is our awesome property that we have. This is a move-in ready Dolly floor plan. You guys are looking at the pictures. This is the Dolly floor plan. We are listed at $497. Now, is that a great value? Yes. And why is it a great value? Because I can tell you something about this property that a lot of people won't tell you, that you're actually going to be paying much less for this property at $497 than what the current sellers actually paid for the property. A lot of other properties that are on the market in this particular community, if you look at the actual numbers, you'll be curious to know that you may be paying more for the property than what they paid for it. I've seen a number of listings out here that are like that. But at the same time, it's also understanding what the competition is. You're up against new construction. So you have to find some give and take when you're trying to get your property sold. You're not going to make the big numbers that you may want it to do, but that's what it is if you're trying to get the property sold. So the space, as I mentioned before, we have 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 3 car garage, just under 3,300 square feet, over $70,000 in upgrades. And that may include options such as like the flooring, the stairs, the owner's bathroom. This actually with the owner's suite, you have a separate shower as well as a separate tub. So you have the soaking tub, garden tub that's there. So that's something that's very different, especially about this model. That's an option. So you got to figure if you wanted to add a tub after the fact, a lot of people just won't do it. They'll just deal with the shower. And the reason being is because to add a tub, that's a whole lot of plumbing, You probably have to rip out the floors, rip out the walls to add plumbing. So it's a lot. So if it's already there and it's being marketed at a much lower rate, price point than the others, that's a hidden value that a lot of people will not really understand unless they really pay attention to the property lifestyle. Different things, like we said, the fence, the yard is 60 feet. If you want to go ahead and have people or guests in the backyard, you have a big enough backyard. You can do some foot races back there with the little ones. Now, when they become teenagers, that may be a little bit of a shorter distance, but 60 feet, you have a lanai. So if you want to hang out on the lanai, you can do that as well. You can have a ceiling fan, the surround sound, the speakers, the wiring is already there. Community amenities. Like I said, this is a loaded community pool. So if you have people that come in from out of town, a lot of times you can't make it to the beaches just because it may be because of the weather or the distance. You can go ahead and just go a block up the road and have pool. You can have your own picnic, pickleball, all of that right there on a budget. You know how it goes. Technology, EV charging station. This property does have an EV charging station. It's already equipped as a smart home. So there's different things that you can actually set up. Surround sound. This is a newer technology home. So you have a lot of the bells and whistles that you're looking for in the home. Technology also including like even with the windows, double pane windows, that helps throughout the property. The insulation of in the attic area, that helps out with the electric bill, keeping that electric bill very low, keeping it very, very low. So keeping that in mind when you're buying a home that is newer to resale, but it is a much newer home. So basically what I'm trying to tell you guys as I'm trying to position this property, compare the finished package, not just the starting price. Look at the whole package, not just the price. Okay. Keep that in mind, guys. So seller action plan, price, just kind of recap this all. What we want to do is make sure that we price with the market. Keep that in mind. Prepare like a buyer is judging. Keep the buyer in mind. Lead with the strongest photos. So the great features. Go make sure those features are being shown. Make access easy, and then review feedback fast. So as feedback comes, get responses, figure out what's going on, see exactly what you can change. So like I said, certain things you cannot change. I had a situation where it was about the community. It was about how the roads were in the community, or how they had certain houses on certain sides of the roads. And at the end of the day, I'm like, that's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can control. But how the home looks, how it's being presented, and how it feels when someone walks in, those are the important things. So those are things that you can change. So keep that in mind. You don't need perfection. You need clarity, consistency, and a strategy that matches the market. Keep the market in mind. Understand what people are doing these days. So guys, that's it. That's all I want to talk to you guys. So for everyone that is still here hanging around, they're going to go ahead, and those who will be coming late, they'll go ahead and continue to view the property, see the amazing features, because that's what it's all about. See what the features are about. See what's going on. And hopefully we can get a contract today. But if not, you guys have the information. So like I said, we are still in the early stages, early phases of getting this property sold, but this is what it's all about. It's part of the process, and it's a little bit more added activity these days. It's about making things really different, showing what's different about this property moving forward. So I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. Feel free to message me. Feel free to contact me, text me, 813-419-3927. Chris Brown, real estate professional developer, as well as health as wealth advocate. Looking forward to working with you. If you know someone that's thinking about selling their property, contact me. Let's have a free consultation. I do a free consultation in regards to anyone thinking of getting their property sold. We talk about buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Take care, residential or commercial. Take care.